I forgot to press publish before, so this is just between us. I hope everybody's in here. This is the first time I'm actually forgot to press start. Sorry about that. So Olaf and I, we have talked for 15 minutes about the different stages of the customer journey and the micro-intents. And everybody who's in here will, if you want to have all the slides afterwards, please just say yes, and we'll send them to you. And I hope that that this recording will still make you understand micro-intents. Sorry about that, Olaf. I think maybe it's the heat. I put in ice cubes in my headphones.
Is a recording? Is a recording we talked about 15 minutes now is available afterwards, or it now starts? No. Okay.
We're starting now.
Then we have start. Then we have perhaps start at the beginning. Or
yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. So, I think it's let's just go very quickly through the first slides here. So I'm already on holiday. I can feel it. So
there I see now action in the
something happening. Okay, Olaf. So if you could do a quick presentation about yourself, and then we will just jump to talk about micro-intents.
Okay. Perhaps Christoph told me that he comes about my concepts of micro-intents over my search engine and article last year. It was right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And how I get to the concept micro-intents. Google introduced 2018 the first core update documentation, and there they talk a lot of EEAT, and they talk indirectly about identifying search intent. And in my opinion, the core updates have two main focuses, and one focus is EEAT, and the other focus is to better identify the search intent. And the classical search intents like informational, navigational, transactional, commercial, and brand are not enough, I think. It is too these classical search intents are too vague, not detailed enough. Perhaps when someone searches for a definition, or you see on the first search engine result page, you see a lot of definitions. It is a different search intent against when you see a lot of how-tos or DIY articles on the first page. That's a totally different search intent, and I think Google can manage it through the core updates, that they can segment more detailed the classical search intents into smaller, more detailed, specific search intents, like the micro intents I made my thoughts about. I wrote a book in 2020 and published this in 2021. It called Content Marketing Along the Customer Journey, where I made a lot of thoughts how these micro intents could be segmented, and so these infographic you see here was created. There are other interesting approaches to identify micro intents. Perhaps the colleague Dixon Jones, in his InLink tool, he segmented micro intents more than along the verbs someone uses, or what kind of verbs are mentioned in the search terms. And so he clustered the micro intents. Also an interesting approach. I choose this approach here. Over this micro intents, you can map or match the micro intent with specific kind of content pieces or content assets, like definitions or how-to articles or listicles, or and so for us content creators, it is good to understand micro intents, so we can produce the right content for the relevant searches or queries.
Yeah, and that's what I like, Olaf, about your model. We will come to it a little bit later, but I think all of us on the call here, we understand the different stages in the customer journey, but digging deeper, that's the important thing. I mean, that's what Google also wants us to do. That's the way you can win on Google by matching the user intent better than the competitors, and that's why we have to look at micro intents from a Google perspective, but also, of course, we need to understand who is our prospect and what are their challenges, and that we need to go deep to understand those, right?
On the real needs of the user. Yeah, that's important. But we have to do it in marketing general. We have to understand the real needs, and in a search marketing way, there are the search intents are a good way, or micro intents are a good way to understand better the user types in the specific queries.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is let's jump down to just before we go to your model. Maybe just a quick word about the messy middle. I think all of us as users, we know that it's just not a linear experience, the customer journey. I mean, of course, the customer journey is an artificial model built for us marketers to understand what our prospects going through, but the messy middle, as we know, we're going back and forth when we want to buy a product, right? So comparing products, changing spec searches, etc. Maybe, Olaf, could you elaborate a bit on the messy middle of Google?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the user often don't travel through a linear journey. That's an ideal model, I would say, an ideal model. But we have to need something linear to create our marketing approaches and along the customer journey. But in reality, it looks more like the messy middle model. The user constantly moving in a loop between exploration and evaluation, and then sometime they collect enough information and buy something, or ask for something, or give a lead or something like that. But I think in marketing we need a linear customer journey model to go forward.
And I guess, I mean, now the next slide, which I will show about the model, you're talking about pre-awareness and awareness. I guess those stages are actually also crucial to be present in, right? I mean, that's also where some mini decisions are being made.
The awareness stage is here in the messy middle is the exploration stage, and the preference stage is more the evaluation phase here in the messy middle. Perhaps we can yeah, exactly. On the left, you see our own model we created for Aufgesang. That's the agency I'm a co-founder of, because you missed the intro.
And we also missed the office dog.
Yeah, office dog also. Yeah, my office dog, or my Foxy Brown. Now she's gone. I can't get her again here in front of the camera. Yeah. In our model, it's special that the classical models like AIDA, or you know the AIDA model with 4 stages. It is not optimal because the AIDA model only represents a sales funnel, not a real customer journey, because it stops at the action stage. But we have a lot of what about the customers we reached, we get. I think we have to put them also in the focus. And so here we have the after sale and loyalty stage for our customers, real customers, and we put an pre-awareness stage at the beginning, because in reality you have a pre-awareness stage. Not every user, or a lot of users, the most users are not aware at the moment. There's no pull, they move, they have no needs, they have no problems, they don't have to search for something, and that are the most people, I would say. And therefore we put the pre-awareness stage at the beginning. In this stage, it's very difficult to trigger the user, because when there's no need, you have to create need, and that is more difficult than to react on a need, on an existing need at the user side.
Yeah, it's about expanding the total addressable market, right? To expand your funnel. I mean, if you should put a percentage here in the funnel, I mean, we always talk about that the purchase people who are ready to buy right now, that's maybe 2% of the people in the funnel, or the prospects in the or the prospects. I mean, do you have any numbers you can share regarding, how many people are in each step of the funnel?
Oh, I don't know. That depends. That depends on how good you are at the specific stage to deliver the right content, the right advertising, to move them to the next stage. That's our responsibility, to help people proactively from stage to stage. That's our work.
Yeah.
And when we are really good, I have to reload the page. Here's a message. Should I reload it? No.
Reload the page.
I gotta. Oops, something went wrong. Try reloading the page. But you still hear me, right?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, then I don't reload the page.
Nope.
Could we get a small feedback? Are we still on air, or?
I think we are on air still. Yeah.
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 Okay. Percentage. How big this percentage for each stage is depends on our work.
I think, Olaf, just one thing is that many companies are very, very focused, and that makes sense with the purchase stage, right? The lower funnel stage. But I think it's also just important to be aware that it's a very little percentage who are ready to buy right now.
Yeah.
And that's also why it makes sense to do micro intents, because it's all about getting them there, and it's about educating them on the way with the right content at the right time, right, in the right format.
Brings them in contact with our brand. When we think about brand building, what is brand building? Brand building is serving very good touch points along the customer journey, and the more high standard, high quality touch points the user have with our products, with our brand, the more the brand will get attractive and get a good image. That's brand building, and so the customer journey and touch points are very close connected with brand building also, and performance, because you don't have to segment branding and performance, because it belongs together. Branding had a big influence on performance.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's always one of the, maybe it's a conflict, but it's the allocation of budget. How do you spend on branding? What do you spend on SEO, for instance, in all the different stages?
But that's an inner view. That's an inner company view. The user it's not important for the user on which channel he will get in touch with us.
No,
or
exactly.
Get in touch with us. That's the separation of the different units and the different budgets belongs to a controlling thing in the most companies, because it's easier to allocate budgets per channel than per user, or on a user focus. That's very difficult to allocate budget for user segments, but it will be the better way of organization, organize our marketing and communication.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also seeing companies reporting on leads and conversions from one point of view, instead of dividing it up per channel. Like every channel has to be their own superhero. I mean, it's all the channels working together, right?
Yeah, right. The typical one touch point conversion is possible in very emotional products, like perhaps fashion. I bought a lot of sneaker with one touch over only one touch point. but for the most products out there, I think we need many touch points to get the user to the preference and the perfect purchase stage of the customer journey.
I did a live session with Dream Data, which is actually a company who's it's an analytics company, and what they found out by looking at data is actually that, you know, companies think that maybe the customer journey is 90 days long. They find out it's like 192 days instead. So it's like when you suddenly realize that the customer journey is so long, or the buyer journey is so long, then it just changes your mindset about how should we actually allocate budget, right? I mean, that's it's an interesting topic.
I don't like general statements. I think it's all different between niche industries, products. How long the customer journey is, there's no one general amount of days or time or something. It is very, you have to identify it for your own products, for your own niche.
I'm also paraphrasing because they did it for several industries. It was just like an average thing, and I think that the point they wanted to make was just that we believe that the customer journey is a lot shorter than it actually is. And you know, I think many here on the call are not thinking about the pre-awareness stage or maybe the awareness stage, but more thinking about when people start searching for our solution instead. That's where it starts, right? So okay, cool. Let's go into your model here, because this is I mean, of course, anybody who wants the slides afterwards, I will send them so they can look further into Olaf's model. You can also find it on Search Engine Land. But I think, Olaf, maybe you could give us an overview of,
and not only at Search Engine Land, in my blog too.
Oh yes. Exactly. And you can get it in German there, I guess, as well.
No,
right?
no, not only in German. I got an own English blog in English language also. Only Google to Olaf Kopp and you will find it.
Yeah, exactly. So Olaf, so this is a funnel to the left that we have with the different stages that you defined. Could you go through the 4 different columns and actually just tell us, first of all, what is the objective of this exercise?
I don't understand the comments I see there. Is there all what means ja tak?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. For first, you have to differentiate the steps of the customer journey model here. In awareness stage, you got a topical interest. In the consideration and preference stage, you got a product, solution, and brand interest. And in the purchase after sale, you got a product interest, and at the loyalty, you got again a topical interest. That is very important to understand, because we have to focus the user needs and the user interest in the different stages of the customer journey funnel. And when you identify micro intents, you can match them with typical kinds of content. Perhaps in the pre-awareness stage, you need more entertainment content, because there are no needs for the user. They are relaxed. They want to have fun, no problems, all good. And so we can attract them with entertainment content, like comics, viral videos, memes, quiz, all entertaining stuff. At the early stage of the awareness, at the early phase of the awareness stage, perhaps the users asking the what question, what is something, and they will need glossary posts or lexicon contributions or explain videos that explain these terms better. And or also for the awareness stage, it could be possible that the micro intent is expansional, and then you meet more holistic kind of content where
I also think, Olaf, in this one, this is also where the user thinks the product is called one thing or what they're looking for, and it's actually something else.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like ebooks or reports are a bit more extent in producing the content here. Or enablement. That's a typical how to post or do it yourself post or guideline, checklist, tutorials. That's more the stuff when the micro intent is enablement. And also in the awareness stage, aggregation and overview. When you that's more like a pillar page. For example, you have a summary or collection of different articles on the page where the user could go deeper in one topic. And in the preference or consideration stage, the content is more product orientated or company orientated, and you depend on the micro intent. It is more like comparison content that compare something or give the user orientation or selection, or a specific selection like a shop category page, or a product detail page, or also brand content, brand or service content. When someone is interested in a product, he perhaps she or he wants to know who's the brand behind the product and who's the company, which are the people behind the company, etc. And in the after sale stage, it's more like support content, because you can manage a lot of support questions with content on your web page, not only over a hotline or a support hotline or something like that. And you have to depend on the micro intent. You have to become or get an insight in which stage of the customer journey a user is, and then you can choose the right content for it to fulfill their needs.
Excellent. So, and I really follow you on all these different stages. I was trying to change a light bulb on my Citroën the other day, and I got a 200-page PDF on my mobile phone while trying to change it, replace it.
Yeah.
It's when you're not thinking through the full journey or the full stages.
Yeah.
Of your
You have to think in many touch points, or not only in one touch point. It is not enough to create one touch point and get findable for it in search marketing or SEO way. You have to think, what then? What is the next step? What is the next information the user perhaps want to have? And then you have to predict it and serve the right content, the next step, or the right advertisement perhaps when the user is in the preference or consideration stage.
So this one, I mean, this is like the whole playing field, right? This is like the full board of content options in every stage of the customer journey.
Examples. I think there are a lot of more kind of content pieces you can create. This is only examples here in this infographic.
Yeah. So now, I mean, you're very focused right now on SGE. So if we're talking from a Google perspective, I mean, where would your focus be if of course Google introduces SGE outside the US? I mean, where should we be producing content, and what stages?
I have to translate the word that I want to use now. One moment. I'm a bit more there two kind of experts at the moment looking at SGE. The one group, the first group, are very optimistic that nothing will change for SEO, all stays the same. And the other group is more pessimistic. I'm on the more pessimistic group, because I think Google will shorten the messy middle. There will be lesser clicks in the messy middle in the future when Google will roll out SGE, because the user has the possibility to get direct answers, more detailed direct answers, or the AI or over the snapshot AI box, and they can use the conversational mode like ChatGPT to get more deeper in it. I think in the future, more people will search like, I'm 47, my weight is 95 kilos, I go jogging 2 to 3 times a week. Which jogging shoes are the right for me? And then the AI will give me the answer and give me possibilities, or, and I have to check it, suggests for relevant jogging shoes for me. And then after that I will ask the AI, where can I buy a jogging shoe from ASICS or from One or Nike or something, and then the AI will give me some shops to go to, and then we are in the preference stage then at the moment, and that could be the future. I don't hope so, but it could be possible, and then we have much more or less clicks in the massive middle, in the exploration and evaluation stage.
It also sounds to me, as you're saying, that big brands are winning.
That's the big brands and trustful resources in general.
But that also leads, Olaf, to this importance of EAT, right? Because when I think up what you're saying, that if I'm a man 47 running shoes, there will be a lot more searches about who is this product for, and that's also something that we can implement in product schema, for instance, or other kind of schema, right?
Yeah, schema is, I think schema is not so important. Schema is only a help for Google to train their algorithms, and after some years they don't need it anymore.
Okay.
That's my opinion on structured data.
Okay, so schema, product schema will, or schema in general, will not be so important.
Google pronounced some weeks ago that in terms of the merchant center, that they don't need their structured data anymore. And so that's the proof that Google first learn with structured data their algorithms, and at a specific point they don't need it anymore. They can recognize product data by themselves without having structured data.
Okay. So, but I mean, what about let's say that AI snapshots will dominate Google. I mean, they will still use data, or they will still use content from different providers. I mean, should we still publish? Should we still really go deep on these micro intents and hope to be part of the AI snapshot?
Which we have no other choice, because we have to prove EAT with deep knowledge that we present, and wide knowledge we present about our topic. There's no choice. We have no choice. We have to get in the relevant set than before for the SGE. We have to be one of the first authorities in our topic. Then we will mention in AI answers. Then we play a role in rankings. Then we play a role in the snapshot boxes, the 3 snapshot boxes in not the snapshot boxes, the carousel, carousel, link carousel in the snapshot boxes. I don't think Google will let everyone there in. You have to prove that you are trustful, authoritative, and the whole EAT stuff.
And I think that's a nice leeway over to your EAT model, because, as we say, this is the playing field that we're looking at. in order to go deeper into micro intents. So I will of course send the slides, or you can look at Olaf's website about this thing. But as Olaf says, EAT will be even more important, especially with the SGE, the search generative experience of Google, and this is also something that you have to focus on. Oh,
Perhaps,
maybe this one first, perhaps, Olaf.
For identifying the right micro intent is for the relevance, to match the relevance of the content we produce with a search query. That happens on a document level. Document level is for relevance. Domain level, more meta factors like on domain level or source entity level are more in direction of quality, and they're more independent of the specific search query. It is more an overall look at the domain or at the source entity, the origin of the content. And I think that is a way Google go to more and more. Because when in the future and nowadays, a lot of content, similar content will be produced by AI. Similar quality, similar relevance, similar amount or extent. And it's very difficult for Google first to decide which content still to index. We got some days ago, we got a podcast where Gary Illish focused the challenge of Google of indexing stuff and said not every content will be indexed in the future. And I think there's also the solution EAT, because you can when Google will use EAT to decide which content to index, that could be a big problem solver for Google. And I think EAT have influence on so much areas in the ranking and the indexing in the future that it will be more and more important. And the relevance of documents, also with the help of AI, to get a special amount of relevance, it is not so difficult anymore with the help of AI. But to get a high quality, a high trust level, a high authority level, all in the kind of EAT, that's much more difficult. It's a long-term strategy to get it, not a short-term strategy. In the history of SEO, we was very tactical, very short-term orientated. We put keywords in the title, in the headings, in the text, etc. Put links on the target URLs, etc., etc. That's very short-term. Only thinking in weeks or months, but not years. Yeah. I think to build a good EAT, you have to think in years.
I think also, Olaf, it's about thinking what is the purpose of SEO, right? Is it a brand channel, or is it a quick conversion channel, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
And many people will think it's the latter, right? It's about just converting more clicks, more conversions, but
right, it's a very short-term tactical way thinking, and not long-term strategic thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see, if we look over years, I mean, the ROI of SEO it's huge compared to other channels. If you have the patience and the skills.
It's a pull channel. Yeah, you catch the need. There is something you see. There's in the you can identify the user where it is in a customer journey, and in which marketing channel this is possible.
Exactly. So let's. I think what we'll do is just go through the EAT model, since we're talking about this one. And you updated your infographics some days ago, right? That was I saw it was very, very popular post on LinkedIn. I could see, I think, more than 500 likes almost.
Every year I posted it. Last year, the first time, it went viral too, because we have all the needs. This whole EAT concept it is very, you can't catch it, because everyone talks about EAT, but Google, nobody, and also Google give no information which are the signals influencing EAT. They give one hint in the white paper how Google fights disinformation from 2019. There they introduced a white paper at the Munich Security Conference, and there they talk a lot about EAT in it, and give the hint that that PageRank is one signal Google is influencing, that PageRank is one signal is influencing EAT. But this is till today, this is the first official statement from Google where they give a concrete signal influencing EAT. And I have to do a lot of research in the last years in patents and white papers and scientific papers and statements from Google to try to get a view or a picture of which signals could influence EAT. It was a lot of work and a lot of time I spent with researching this possible signals, and this infographic is the extract from it, the result of it, and I sum up here the signals I identified during the research.
And I know, Olaf, that you will answer it depends to the next question, but I mean, all of these factors look like they have the same value. Which are there some of them you can highlight to us where maybe it's something that we're already doing, or maybe it's something that we should be more aware of? I mean, are there some metrics here or some pointers that you can give us?
We have to differentiate here between off-page and on-page signals. You see the green ones are more off-page, the yellow ones are more on-page. I think, on that, we said it before, we have to still create great content, because with this great content we show expertise, experience. In focus we show with our content the 2 E's of EAT: expertise and experience. Authority and trust we will get from third-party people or organizations or websites, because that's like in the real world. You can say you're an expert on this, on this, on this. Everyone do it. The real trust in our person comes from other people and other organizations. I think that is the same thing here. And Google would like to build algorithms here for EAT that are identifying brands, you could say, and which sources I can trust, and that reflects the 4 letters here. And when you ask me what we should focus on influencing EAT, I would say content, helpful content, quality of content site-wide, not only one high quality content piece, many quality content pieces in the sum, and to get co-occurrences from our brand in search terms, on third-party documents, in third-party channels. It's more like then the green or link building. Perhaps you can do it in a good way. I don't think spam around links would not influence EAT. You have to connect with other trustful resources that they have to link to you, mention you. That's a way of digital brand building, I would call it.
Yeah, I mean, and all this speaks into working with micro intents and working on producing content which which just hits the hammer on which hits,
Yeah.
it's a hammer on the nail, right? I mean, being very specific about the intent. And you know, sometimes I go out to companies who have a big content team, and they've produced 3 articles about the same topic, and you could just see that content strategy is so important before you start producing content. And also, as you state, I mean, and also as Gary said from Google, I mean, it will be harder to get content indexed later on. And I'm sure that most people who are in here, if they look at how much content they have on their site today and how much has not gotten any traffic the last 12 months, which you could actually just get rid of to make it easier for the crawl budget. I think a lot of this speaks into content strategy, right?
You have to think at first. You have to think or ask you the question: for which topics I would like to connect my brand, and stay focused here. You can't write about 100 topics and think that the people out there will recognize your brand with over 100 topics. It's all about positioning also. For what topics I would like position my brand. And when you decide these are the 3, 4, 5 topics, then focus on this topic and go into deep. And build semantic topic worlds, or how you will call it.
Yeah, exactly. Great. I think that was a good. I want to end the live here because I think that was a great conclusion to everything.
In 4 minutes, I got my next.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, for all you out there, I'm sorry that we started a little bit late. Well, Olaf and I started on time. I just hadn't pushed the publish button, the go live button. That's I blame it on the summer heat. But Olaf, it was great to have you come up here. I mean, we are thinking in the same direction, and you have inspired me to further go into. There he is. There she is. Right. Excellent. That's a great finale. That's the grand finale of our show here. Excellent. So anyway, you've inspired me, and I think also people here on the call thinking just in the big terms, thinking that we can win everything if we just produce content, and thinking that it's only about having content for each stage. Really go deeper with your content, understand your clients better, understand what content you need to produce, make sure there's no cannibalization, that not everybody's producing just a lot of crappy content. But anyway, Olaf, thank you very much, and have a great day, everyone.